All right, how y'all doing out there? What is going on, everybody? I am trying to tell you that was a very good ending today. And early Christmas present for Atlanta Falcons fans who've been waiting to see that version of the Atlanta Falcons all year long. Yes, I know it's after the fact. Yes, I know it's the season's over. And yes, I know that to some of you, that's an empty win. But you know what that is, y'all? That's a Falcon win. And I celebrate a Falcon win every time we come up with one, especially the way we came up with that one today. How y'all doing today? And Steve's Sports Talking More on Facebook, Steve Sports Talking More also on YouTube, and also in the Atlanta Bird game. How y'all doing? Yes, I'm a little bit late today. As y'all see, I have my Atlanta Falcons ugly sweater. Had a chance to go to Christmas party with my buddy, my best friend, and my wife. And we got there just in time to see the end of it, the end of the game, which was real cool because we were listening on the radio as it was going on. Atlanta, and you look at the score, it looks like they won by a touchdown. And yes, for all practical purposes, they did. But that little stupid lateral play that always ends up not working for everybody didn't work again. So rise up to you Falcon fans. Great to have you all on board with us. And man, I mean, I don't even know what else to say, man. Just a great game overall. And for those of you just on the note, just for those of you who always wonder, why are y'all playing? What are you playing for? When you're a fan, man, that stuff never leaves. When you're a fan, if you win the game, that's why you're a fan. It's games like this that lets me know that despite everything that's happened in the first part of the season, despite the fact that we're out of the playoffs, it just reminds me how much of a fan I really am. And trust me, today was one of those days where I just was ecstatic, just over the moon over this win. This is just good stuff for me. So 29-22, Falcons win the game. Big upset over the San Francisco 49ers. Go over a couple of the numbers right quick. Matt Ryan, 25 for 39, 210 yards. Again, when you see Matt Ryan with his numbers somewhere in that vicinity, that means that they did just enough running in this game. Didn't have the lofty 500-yard game, but we did enough on the ground. And I say did enough on the ground. We didn't average 5 yards a carry, but we did. Well, actually, I take that back. We did average 4 yards a carry, 4.5 yards a carry. Did just enough to keep the defense honest, because there was a time during the game where them boys were coming, and boy, were they coming. So just pretty good stuff, y'all. Just a great game altogether. Here we go. We got Devonta ran for 39 yards, 12 carries. Matt Ryan, second leading rusher for the Falcons, 5 carries, 27 yards. Brian Hill had that big 16-yard run earlier in the game. Receiving, Julio, I've gotten on Julio all year long, and you know what? I'm going to give him his props today because he actually came through, 13 catches, 134 yards, obviously the 2 touchdowns, and obviously he led the way. He and Matt led the way for the team. Getting some guys. Jeremy say any updates on TAC? I have not heard anything yet. I'm literally just getting back in. I have not heard anything from TAC. Did not look good when I saw earlier. Rusty, how did we win? I went to take a shower, down 7. Come out and we won by 7 or so. I was like, what the hell? Yeah, man, just a incredible sequence where the Falcons ended up getting the ball back and drove in, and they took 1 touchdown from us. I don't know about y'all. Did y'all think the Hooper catch was legit? There was something to me that when that ball came down that it looked like it was still in his hands, you know what? I don't care now the fact that we won the game, but there was just something to me that still said control in that game. So I thought he had control. Hey, who cares? Julio scored on the next play, so it doesn't matter. John Harris said, you can't be listening on the radio. That will cause a wreck. Dude, I'm trying to tell you, that was crazy. They be in the damn Falcons. Yeah, man, rise up, dude. But that's Damian, that's what it is about being a fan, man. You ride. Keelan, great game. What I'm afraid of is Mr. Blank is thinking about keeping DQ. Hooper's catch was a Tad. I'm hoping you mean TD. I thought it was myself personally. So again, who cares? The next play we ended up doing it. So all good. Reeves Kiki, great win. That's right. Keith Jackson for the stats, guys. That's another come from behind win for Matt. One of those stats that, you know, when you start talking about legacy, yes, this wasn't the Super Bowl. It wasn't a playoff game, even though he does have a comeback game against Seattle that he did win. But one of those games when it's all said and done 5 years ago, when we'll start laughing about these arguments we're having over how good your quarterback is. I'm going to tell you something. That was a game-winning drive against a really good team. This is not a game-winning drive against Detroit or the Giants. That was a really good team you beat. And the only thing that it just makes you scratch your head and just want to spin around is like, where was this in September and October? Because we could be talking about playoff positions instead of draft picks. But again, I'm a Falcon fan, so I'll take the win first. So it's all good. Derek says Hooper had control. I thought he did too. I don't know what the referees were thinking. Again, I know it's a moot point now, but when the ball touches the ground, if you have control of the ball, even if the ball touches the ground, that's still a catch. Now, when he brought it up, even if the ball juggled, he never lost it. So if he didn't lose it, I don't understand how that turned out to be an incomplete pass. You know, you talk about the whole motion. Well, the whole motion had it where he had the ball through his legs. And he had, again, not important now, but I just thought that was a really good play by him. Tony said that was a great catch, never hit the ground. John Norman, I know Julio had a good game today, but I'm starting to worry about him. What do you think? And if you're talking about as far as with injuries and stuff like that is concerned, I think, you know what? Unfortunately, that's one of the things. You knew that before you signed him to that large contract this year. We know that's Julio. Julio will jump in, limp off. Dude, he limped off in the first quarter. I thought he was going to be gone for the rest of the game. But if there's one thing you cannot question, Julio is a warrior, man. And he is a warrior. I cannot question that part. I cannot. Just gutty performance by him. It really was. Damian says that was a catch. I thought it was too. Tony, they robbed us the whole game. Yeah, the referees seem to have a little San Francisco love. I'm going back to the play, and forgive me, I know y'all probably been talking about it for hours, but again, I just got in from the Christmas party, but I wanted to chop it up. The personal foul against, and I think that was Adrian Claiborne, when he fell, but he grabbed Garoppolo by the legs and took him down, and they gave him a personal foul, unnecessary roughness, or roughing the quarterback. But then Matt, on the very next series, got toe up, and they didn't throw the flag. They kept the flag in their pocket. There's something real crazy about that. I don't know, y'all, but again, I digress. We won the game, so I'll put that in the who cares category for the day. Demetrius, what's going on? Well, don't be mad. DQ isn't coming. Boy, oh boy, you know, I'm gonna try my best to table most of that for tomorrow. We do the aftermath show on Mondays, but folks, that's gonna be a real discussion tomorrow, and it's not gonna change my opinion on what I think the team should do. But wins like this, wins like the one in New Orleans, we're 4-2 after the break. I can't give the man a pass. I give the team a lot of credit. But these guys now, all of a sudden, I don't know whether they're playing for their lives, they're playing for him, they're playing for each other. That's for sure. And that was just a gritty, gutty win on the road against arguably one of the top two teams in the NFC. You have to give credit where credit is due. That was really good. Trey, them damn Falcons would kill you no matter how mad you are with the Falcons. There's always close games that show the diehard spirit in you. Man, let me tell you something, man. As I was telling y'all when the Carolina game, between 4:25 and whenever the game ended, you're not thinking about the sixth loss losing streak. You're not thinking about how bad the team has played for the 8 weeks before the bye. You're not thinking about firing Dan Quinn at the moment. You're not thinking about, all you're thinking about, if you are a fan, all you're thinking about is in the moment is how are we going to beat these 49ers? And when they do, if you did not feel any emotion, either in Hoops' almost catch or Julio's catch, if you did not feel any emotion inside of you, you might be in the wrong group. If you were that person that when he caught that pass and said, oh, dang, that means we ain't going to get Chase Young. You know what? Y'all need to go to another group. And I don't call people out like that all the time. But I really feel like you might be in the wrong place. Dude, that was an emotional win. That was a great win today. Is it going to do anything for us for 2019? Is it going to save Dan Quinn's job? In my opinion, I don't think so. But you know what? If you're a Falcon fan, man, that's a great win. And they're showing all those highlights on TV today. The only regret you have is, man, where was this early in the year? Where was it? Where was it? Terrell says, I'm still all in on fire GM, head coach, OC, trade, air junkie Freeman. I hear you, brother. Again, and listen, I am too, for the record. Everything you just said. But that still doesn't stop me from celebrating that my team won today. My team won. Jarvis, big win. Absolutely. Saul, next year is going to be interesting who we pay. Not only who we pay, look, them young boys are playing. Don't underestimate. Yeah, they had they had a horrible time checking Kittle. But listen to this, though. And look at this. Kittle had 13 receptions for 134 yards. Other than that, Samuel, one catch. It was 29 yards, but one catch. Bourne, one catch. Emmanuel Sanders, 2 catches, 9 yards. Kyle, the fullback, Kajewski, whatever his name is, 2 catches, 6 yards. So our secondary, without Trufant, is starting to get it. They're starting to play. Now, too late for 2019, but I'm excited for the youth on this team. And I hate that it took a 1-7 start to get those guys out there to realize, this is how you start playing ball. But they're not winning against Sisters of the Poor, y'all. We beat New Orleans in New Orleans. We beat Frisco in Frisco. We beat, at the time, a decent Carolina team in Carolina. We took care of business last week. The mentality, the winning mentality, it starts now for 2020. It does. There's no other way to say it. You have to learn how to win. You have to. Lisa said, I was screaming. My heart rate was elevated. Arthur Blank was at the game. He looked so happy. Doubt Quinn is going anywhere. I hear you. Right. This could be the season of what could have been. Chauncey, my brother Chauncey, they hate me right now. Kyle being Kyle. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Lisa, the only thing is that our win helped the Aints, inadvertent consequence. And you know, I had a few Saints fans that were texting me today, who shall be nameless because I'll embarrass them, that were actually thanking us for the win. And then there was a couple of them that didn't say anything, and I sent them a text saying, "You're welcome." So, yeah, we did help the Saints today in that big win. Saul said, okay, we got Saul. Lynn, how you doing? Rise up. I love my Falcons. I love them too, Lynn. Absolutely. David, the officiating has been atrocious all year. And I don't know what to say. Look, this push for them to become full-time might have to become a reality, and the NFL may have to ante up, because I think if you have those guys in there full-time on their craft 12 months a year instead of on this part-time deal that they do, I think you might get some of these calls. There's too much money involved in the NFL. There's too much job security involved with some of these calls. And granted, if we didn't win this game, we could have pointed at a couple of very important calls that the refs blew. And I'm glad it ended up like we did, but that still doesn't change the fact that the referees really need to straighten up their game. Brick, how do you feel about retaining DQ and firing TD? The same, Brick. Listen, I'm a Falcon fan first. My first priority is to root for my team. There was somebody yesterday, I'm trying to give who credit where credit is due. I'm trying to think what my buddy's name was, but I'm going to pull him up. A good guy. But he was asking why do we even want to win? And I wrote in the post, I said, because I'm a Falcon fan, because I don't like losing, and because I don't root for my team to lose. And in a situation like today, it's perfect. You're a Falcon fan. You're emotional. Again, if you're so detached from the game, you wouldn't, I guarantee you 99 out of the 100 of y'all that watched the game felt the same way I did when they scored that touchdown. And if you're the one person, again, that sits back and say, oh, darn, no Joe Burrows this year, no Chase Young, then you know what? You got things twisted. You're playing fantasy football. You know, this is about my Falcons, and I'm going to make it about my Falcons. Absolutely. Absolutely about my Falcons. Jarvis, I think DQ needs a GM that will keep pressure on him. I think he's a good coach. James, how you doing, my friend from Kentucky? We did it, brother. We did it again. Crazy, right? Carlos, hoops was a catch. It was on his cleats. And Carlo, it didn't touch the ground, man. I don't understand what the refs were doing. I don't know. I think that's because they got some of that Santa Ana love out there, but that was a catch to me. That was truly a catch. Sean, how you doing, my friend? How you doing today? Shanard, DQ will not be fired. With TD will be fired. Somebody's got to go. You know, and I'm trying not to, I'm trying to give the 24-hour rule of celebrating what happened as opposed to getting on these two guys. Somebody's still got to go. You got to answer for the first 8. And what's happening is the stuff we're doing now is, to me, more of a case to fire somebody, because I need somebody consistent through the year. I need somebody. I don't want to see that you can light a fire in November, December. I want to see that fire stay lit September, October, November, December, going into the playoffs. You can't do that. You can't turn it on and turn it off, or turn it on when your job is at stake. You need to turn it on at the beginning of the year. Turn it on during a Minnesota game when you get run over by Minnesota. Turn it on during the Indianapolis game when you got the second string quarterback that just found out he got the job 2 weeks before that. Turn it on against a Tennessee team that we let a quarterback that's now on the bench run all over us. Turn it on for a Seattle team where you basically got outplayed the first half, but still only came a field goal from winning. Turn it on against a New Orleans team that you really should have played them better in the first half and had a chance to win that game. All those reasons right now, again, I want to stay positive. I want to stay positive, but I cannot overlook the deficiencies you had in the first half of the year because of a great win. Again, I'm celebrating this win, but I got to ask for more from my coach and my general manager. This is a great win put on the resume, but at the end of the day, it's your body of work for 2019 that's going to get you fired. So that's where I lean on that. Brick, I'm glad we beat that trader who sold us out at the Super Bowl. I pumped my fist hard when Julio caught the ball. It's been a while since I celebrated a win. And Brick, that's what it's about. It's about the Falcons celebrating our win. I'm going to get back to the Kyle Shanahan thing in 1 second. Sean, I'm glad we were able to do this on the road and win games. That's big. That's San Francisco, Carolina, who at the time was a winning team, and New Orleans. It's not a slouchy road slate that you came up with in this second half. But again, accountability for the first half, 1-7. Accountability, man. We didn't even have, you know what? We've had more injuries the second half of the season than we did the first half. But somehow we're managing to play this game much better. I don't understand that. Lisa, that game was nuts. How much do NFL officials make? You know, I don't know right off the bat, but I tell you what, whatever they're doing right now, they're getting overpaid because you have to be more accountable for some of the calls that they're giving out there. That roughing the passer call against Adrian Claiborne just spun me around. That was crazy. Keelan, I disagree. DQ is not a good coach. Compare him to any coach. Yeah, I don't think he's a great coach. He might be a good DC, but now we're finding out that maybe he was a good DC because he had talent up there in New Orleans. Lord. In Seattle. Anthony Houston. Good win, thanks. One of the New Orleans fans, but my buddy. Hey, you're welcome, buddy. Check. Hey, we'll be looking for that money for us. You only send us that check. Sean, I'm glad we were able to win on the road. I think I read that already. Sheehan, what's up, Sheehan? How you doing, buddy? They are saving Dan Quinn and Thomas DeBistraw's job. This is some bull crap. Sheehan, don't be sure, man. I'm not sure they are. I did not want to lose either, but it hurt us. But how does it hurt us? How does it hurt us to win a game? I argued this with the other dude. When all of a sudden has it become the end thing to lose a game? NFL is not the NBA, and it's not baseball. And even baseball is really crazy because the draft is ridiculous anyway. You only get one player out of the 20 or 30 rounds that are really, really good. The other ones you develop in 4 or 5 years. Dude, you play to win the game. Herm Edwards. You play to win. So when the Falcons were eliminated, what do you think? They just closed down shop, closed down Flowery Branch? The effort those guys gave today, yes. Wish we could have had it in September and October. But the excitement, dude, that was a huge win. And I'm not saying huge win like franchise changing, whatever. That's a big win, man. For a losing team to go and beat a San Francisco team that's fighting to be the number 1 seed at their place, that's embarrassing. And there's no other person I would love to do with it than Kyle Shanahan. And I just enjoy the fact that he may not have home field because of us. That makes me feel real good. Gregory said that was roughing the passer crap. What roughing the passer crap was so weak, they tried to give the game to the 49ers. Atlanta wouldn't give up. And that was my thing, Gregory. At that point, it's almost like, hey, y'all, this ain't going to script. Falcons was supposed to be getting beat by 2 touchdowns. What was the spread? 10.5. Falcons was supposed to be losing this game by a touchdown and a half. Let's slow this down. And they probably spent something over there and said, get the ball to Kittle. Because Kittle was the only consistent offensive thing going on today. And Kittle's a beast, man. Whew. That boy. And I thought Travis Kelce and Zach Ertz were like the next big tight end. And I know Hoop is good for us too. But that Kittle, man, Kittle's going to be something else. He was. Melly say, won't he do it? Yes, he will. Dave, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Shit, DQ, a better GM for the defense than Dimitrov. Michael says we need to get rid of Quinn, still a losing record. Again, Michael, you and I are on the same page on that, sir. Timothy said, who cares about a draft pick? How many number 1 draft choices have won a Super Bowl? Timothy, I've tried to explain that to folks time and time again. It's not a matter of who you get. No, not who. It's not a matter of how high you pick in the draft. How many times, to your point, Timothy, has the person you picked in the top 5 or top 10 disappointed us? All y'all got to do is go look down the list for the last 5 or 10 years. Not just with the Falcons. Not just with the Falcons. Go look at a lot of other teams and look at those top 10 picks. I was talking to one of my buddies today at church, big Denver fan, Shane Ray. Remember how everybody was high on Shane Ray? And he was supposed to be the big all that. And Shane Ray was in camp, trying to pick up with us maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Top 10 pick, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Top 10, top 15. It's a matter of who's making the picks and who can evaluate that talent. That's who we need in here. We need new eyes looking at these young players, new eyes looking at these players in the 2020s. This is what we have to look at. Dan Quinn was a great cheerleader for us at a time when we needed a great cheerleader. Coming off Mike Smith, coming off being a little bland, he was the perfect remedy, the perfect mix to perk up the franchise for a year or two. Well, now we see that a couple of years later, he's not the man for the job. There's no shame on that. I thank you, Dan Quinn. I thank you, Dimitrov, for 12 years of 12 years of doing a pretty good job of turning the franchise into, instead of we made the playoffs, to, man, we need to be making the playoffs every year. He did change that. You got to say that. Sheehan, turn it on when you get whooped at home versus the Rams. Yeah, that's my point. Sheehan, that's the stuff that that is what he's going to get fired for. He's going to get fired for not taking care of business when he does. As a Falcon fan, I applaud the win today. I'm not sitting here talking about Dan Quinn and him rallying the troops. That was a player win today. And look, and we haven't mentioned his name except at the beginning. I know it's a lightning rod. I know some of y'all want to pack his bags and get rid of him, man. Matt Ryan, if for one night only, y'all got to give it up for your quarterback today. Matt Ryan showed guts. I was at the party at the end, and at the little play where he ran the ball and he ran for 9 yards and slid when the defenders were in front of him. Why didn't he just run through and do it? Matt was getting killed today. Matt was getting crushed today. But yet, he still made it through, got one more chance, and drove his team to a winning touchdown drive on the road against, at the time, the number 1 seed in the NFC. Great job, Matt Ryan. I'm not talking about what he's done as a whole this year. I'm talking about today. Great job, Matt Ryan. Great job. Ingrid and our players, absolutely. Jarvis, but who said? But who should we go after if if Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff is fired? We've read the name several times. Again, from a coaching standpoint, from the college coach, you're talking about Riley. You're talking about from a pro standpoint, McCarthy possibly. Is Louis Riddick ready to get out of the booth at ESPN and come down and lead a team? We have plenty of time for that. I'll talk more about that in the aftermath. I want to talk more about this game and what we're going to have. Same thing, Molly. Melly. I'm sorry, Melly. My eyes are jacked up. Melly. We should replace Dimitrov with Rick Smith. That's actually another good name. Just out of curiosity, that is a good name. Shin, I was happy for Matt Ryan winning 3 games with so many haters of the best quarterback in franchise history. And, Shin, what you're going to have is you're going to have that mix of people that are going to ask, what have you done for me lately as a whole during a playoff year? And it's slightly fair. But there's no debating that he's the best quarterback in this franchise. There's no debating that his leadership and Julio, give Julio credit too, their leadership together brought this team back for this win today. Absolutely no doubt. Keelan, with your sweater activate seizures. You know what? I had this sweater on earlier. I'm going to turn it off. This is the sweater they had. It was the ugly sweater Christmas party. I'm sorry, brother. I didn't want to make you go crazy. So I will turn it off just for you. Average official, Anthony says, $200,000. Wow, that's deep. That's deep. Yeah, Keelan. Yeah, you caught me say greatness. I didn't mean that. Let's go down here a little bit. Kevin, 44 has put on a solid second half of the year together. Does he stay now? He stays if I can get him for 1 year, $4 million to prove he can do it long term. He did have a good game. He's had a couple of good games. I'll give him a 1 year contract for $4 million and still go out and get a defensive end in the draft and see if that motivates him any. He could be a rotational player for $4 million. You pay Bailey from Kansas City to come in here for the same thing. If you tell me Vic can come for $4 million, that's a great deal. Let him come. Jarvis, Ron Thomas, Bill Cowher. Ron Thomas. Shan, they're going to pay. They are planning to fight for DQ's job. I don't think it's going to work. Shan, the rest were horrible. David Starks, what could have been? What could have been? That's my point, Dave. David, that's the argument. I can't sit here and be emotional about, well, you know what? Because of that win, go ahead and stay in your office. I can't do it. I can't. I'm still bitter about the first 8. We are 4-2 in this second half. If we went 500 in the first half, we would still be in the conversation. But you can't go 1-7 and then all of a sudden turn the switch on. For fans, it's great. Bragging rights for another year against the scrub that left us after the Super Bowl. But yeah, Dan doesn't stay for that. He doesn't. He doesn't. Calvin, how you doing? You did call it, Calvin. You did say it. You did say that. And I remember that. Credit to you. You absolutely. Kevin, that's the NBA mentality if you're talking about tanking. Right. That's ridiculous. Shenard, professionals don't tank a season. That's a little league ball. Shenard, I've been trying to tell people that's a loser's mentality to say let's play to lose, because there are 2 players up there in college that we might have a chance of getting. And then you lose the games, get the college player, and they don't develop into what you want to. And then we're on this same debate this time next year. You play to win the game. Always. Always. Carnell, this is what you want. This is what you want your team to do. Absolutely. Melly, Rick Smith is available. We should get, and I think you're right. He is, and he actually, between him and Louis Riddick, I wouldn't be upset with either. I really wouldn't be upset with either one. We can do that. I would love to get my hands on the offensive coach from Baltimore, but the problem is, if he comes here, I don't think he's gonna deal with Matt Ryan. He's gonna deal with a Lamar Jackson type player. But the OC at Baltimore, he's definitely gonna get a lot of calls. Perry, how you doing, man? Did you see the article about Lamar Jackson rushing for more than it does? I know our first round pick is going to be, he's not going to. We're not running backs these days, Perry, unless they're the last major running back, I think, was Saquon. Really coming out this year. I like the Taylor cat from Wisconsin. I'm not sure if he's if he's first round, they're not going to get him until probably late in the first round. But I hear you. We do need to switch up our running game. We do need. Brian Hill shows some nice, little moves there. Freeman, Freeman's got to go, man. David, it was 11.5. See what I'm saying? That's crazy. Steven said both roughing the passer calls were on drives where they could have scored. We could have easily won safely. We had limited a few mistakes we made. Now, aside of my man Christian Blake with those holding calls, Steven, you're absolutely right. It just seemed like they were making some really, I don't know, the referees seemed like, oh, this game is not going the way it needs to go. So let's start, making sure San Francisco wins this game. You're right. Jonathan, dude, that sweater is epic. Merry Christmas. How would you change our run game? Well, Jonathan, it's going to come, and I know people don't want to hear this part too. The offensive line has to have time. Lindstrom and McGarry are going to be okay. Y'all hear me say this. I know McGarry has looked off and on during the year. They're going to be fine. It's going to take a year or so. It is. The problem is we don't have a quarterback that's capable of improvising in the pocket like your Watsons, like your Jacksons, like your Russell Wilsons, like your Aaron Rodgers, like your Josh Allens. We don't have that particular quarterback right now. And it makes it look bad because he's not able to move in the pocket. Now, today, especially that last drive, he did step up. It broke down. He stepped up in the pocket and was able to make a couple of plays, a couple of them with his feet, and a couple of them where he got out over into the right and then made a couple of throws. So that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a better performance from our offensive line, and we're going to have to pick up maybe one or two running backs. Now, not Steven's point. Who was that talking about? Oh, Perry. With Perry's point about a running back, we do need a running back, but not in the first round. We have too many issues on defense with rushing the passer and possibly on the offensive line to waste a first-round pick on a running back. We'll be upset. She didn't say the sweater is fire. Thank y'all. I appreciate that. Demetrius, one pick will not win us a Super Bowl. I don't know. Y'all are telling the story for me. I need y'all on these posts talking to these folks too, man. You cannot. It's almost like people are acting like lose all the games, get Chase Young, and it's over. We're a playoff team again. Dude, we need going back to the year Arthur Blank told Dimitrov, we need 3 starters. We need about 5 starters. The way our cap is set up and the money that we're going to be paying our big folks next year, we need at least 4 starters on this team in this draft. And running back can't be number 1. Running back is going to be one of them, but it can't be number 1. Do you use a 7th or a 6th round pick on Rodrigo Blankenship? Or has Koo been doing the job? Koo has been all right. He's been pretty good. Let's see what Blankenship would do. Perry, does anyone know how many sacks Vic had? He had 7. I know that the 1 sack he got gave him his 7th. So Mike Bell on 92.9 may have to get Vic face on his behind. I heard about that. I think it's 10 that he said he had to get, right? Was it 10 before he did that? I'm pretty sure that's what he said. Jimmy, how you doing, man? Dan. Well, he might not be gone. I think he's still gone, Jimmy. I think he's still gone. Yeah, it's 10 sacks. Barry, yeah, it's 10 sacks. I thought it was. Matt Ryan haters, quiet as hell today. You better be quiet. You better be quiet. Yeah, Saul verifying 6, 7 sacks. Absolutely. He may get 3 with 2 games. He might. Now that Tack is gone, he might fill in that blank. Lincoln Riley and Ridley, that's what I've been leaning on too, Shin. Joshua Legends, I'm most worried about Freeman. Freeman's got to go, Joshua. He's got to go. He's got to go. And my brother, I'm going to pronounce your name. I see your post all the time. Good. Mauricio? Let me know if I'm right. Next year, we will be in the playoffs. I hope so. That's my guess. Keelan says, DQ has squandered so much talent. People accuse us of being a bad sports town. That's not true. We do not want another Jason Garrett. I look at DQ during the games, and he looks more like a fan than a coach. Maybe he does this coaching urging practice. That's been my biggest thing with DQ. I don't think he's an X's and O's guy. Well, scratch that. He might be a defensive X's and O's guy. It hasn't worked here, but he just doesn't fit the mold right now of the head coach we need with this team. Now, that team in 2016 with the rookies we had and what he needed to get them to do, I mean, whatever he was stirring, whatever he was selling in 2016, they were buying. But it's obvious in 2019, it's gotten stale. The message got stale. And it's going to take more than road wins against New Orleans and San Francisco to keep his job. I still think he's gone, y'all. I don't. And that's not wishing bad for the man, but I don't think he's the coach we need. And TD is probably going to have to go with him. David Stark, in the number 2 defense in football, he drove the team to win the game. Dude, every quarterback cannot do what he did this evening. Every team cannot do. They've only lost twice, y'all. It's not like San Francisco has been losing games all year. New Orleans couldn't beat them at their place. Our defense actually played pretty good too. Let's not overlook that now. How many touchdowns did they get? 2? 2 touchdowns? Am I wrong about that? Or 3? No, 2. 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, that was a pretty good showing. Mr. Glover, what's going on? What you going to do if TD and DQ and Vic come back? Well, Vic is only going to come back if it's a cheap contract. Well, if they come back, Glover, let me tell you something, man. When Lehman Bennett left, I was still a Falcon fan. When Jerry Glanville left, I was still a Falcon fan. When Dan Reeves left, I was still a Falcon fan. When Jim Moore left, I was still a Falcon fan. And when Bobby Petrino left, I was still a Falcon fan. It doesn't change for me. Am I happy about it? Probably not. But at the end of the day, this is my team. This is my team no matter who is quarterbacking, who is coaching. This is my team. That's my best answer. Keelan, Grady is a beast. Grady would be all pro right now if the 5-9 was flipped into a 9-5. Grady is the MVP of this team, without a doubt, this year. He is the MVP of this team. Timothy, the offensive line protected Matt well enough today. That's what we should put emphasis on, protecting the quarterback. And Timothy, I'm telling you, the younger guys are who I'm more worried about. Yeah, I don't think Carpenter is going to be back. Brown's definitely not going to be back, in my opinion. Even Jake had a decent game. He had a holding penalty earlier, but they had a decent game. Did both of them finally, do what they do? Absolutely. But at the end, when it counted and it was time and it was money time, you got to give credit. Them cats came to play. They came to play today. Now, Dan Quinn doesn't do it consistently. That's what he's getting fired for, y'all. Don't get overhyped about a win as a check mark for him. This is the second straight year that we swooned at the beginning of the season, and then you come back trying to win 3 or 4 games. Fool me once, 2018, shame on you. On me, I should say. Fool me twice. No. Try that again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. This is twice. I'm not impressed by what you're doing in November and December after a horrible start. I need that start from the beginning. Again, y'all, a 500 first half, we'll be right in the picture for the wild card. But we're not. We're not. Sheehan, keep the sweater on. Ted, we can't even lose, right? Ted, look, man, we won, brother. Ain't nothing. You my boy, Ted. You all right. Abel says, like the sweater, Steven. Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I got accused of stirring up some seizures from one of my buddies. So I turned it off for him because I don't want any medical bills coming my way. So Anthony, you're right. Can't make me forget the first half of the season is still a disappointment of a season again. Changes have to be made. Again, you can't be emotional. You can't be emotional about the overall picture. Can you be emotional about today's game? Absolutely. And the 24-hour rule is in effect. I'm going to brag about it and talk about it for the next day about how we beat the number 1 seed at their place at the end of the year. Matt Ryan leading his team. Julio Jones coming up big. Yes, I'm going to celebrate that. But when that gun sounds after the game at Tampa Bay, it shouldn't even be Black Monday. It should be Black Sunday afternoon. And you can't do that. Greg Roman, that's my boy. Greg Roman. That's what he's talking about. Absolutely. Devin says, what do you think about the defensive player at Ohio State, Chase Young, staying in college? It would be good if we could get, and I heard that. I heard those reports and I heard him speak on that. Devin, I'm telling you what's going to happen. After he had that conversation, there were probably about 10 family members, 3 close friends who are agents, and that probably came to him and had an intervention. Because here's the bottom line. Even if they win the national championship or if they don't, what you have to do as an individual is know your value. Chase Young is playing at Ohio State to further his stock in the NFL. At this moment, right now, his stock is not going to be any higher. Somebody's going to talk to that young man, and I give him full credit for saying, I want to stay. A lot of young guys don't do that, and I'm glad that he's on that vibe. But as the best player this year in college football, you've got to leave. You got to. And again, I'm not trying to mess with his mentality, but he's got to leave. The money, not only just for the money, but you're not going to get any more hype than you are right now if you're Chase Young. You're not. You had the Heisman Trophy person talking about you when he's accepted his trophy. Yeah, I think that story is going to change, Devin. Sandy, we got 2 second-rounders already. And not only that, Sandy, with these free agents that we're probably going to, when you're talking about Vic and you're talking about Hooper, if both of those sign with other teams, we'll get supplemental picks for them too. So again, pile up your picks because we're going to need folks to fill this roster next year because over 50% of your money is coming from about 4 or 5 players. So the 2 second-rounders you're talking about, the potential second round. Look, get ready, y'all. We're going to lose Hoop. Y'all get ready. Get your mind ready for it. We're going to lose Hoop. That's just the business. We can't afford to sign him. We can't afford to sign a $10 million tight end. We can't. Develop Graham. If you want to get another young tight end in the 4th, 5th round, do that. But we can't. Andre, Steve, tell me you heard Shanahan tried to play us by saying this is our Super Bowl. I saw that quote, Andre, and there was something about me that almost said, that was kind of a little dig. No count about it. That was a nice little dig he got. And I think, he kind of called himself being smart, almost Sean Payton-like. When I saw that quote, that's exactly who I thought about. A little cocky with that one. But you know what? At the end of the day, Andre, at the end of the day, he got his. So, I'm going to say Hoop is gone. Yeah, Hoop is out of here, man. No, Keelan, he got to go, bro. I mean, not got to go, but we don't have space for him. We don't have room for him. Ken Folk, what's up? What's up? That's where Shanahan backstabbing behind. I knew you were going to come on with that. Carlo, Coop kicking precision on them onsides is going to pay dividends. Yes, sir. Yeah, cool. Yeah, he might earn his spot this year. But you know what? The difference between this year and next year, you get Cool. You bring them in for the training camp, but unlike we did to Vecchio last year, you bring somebody in to challenge him. So, like I said, Blankenship won the Lou Groza Award for best kicker in the country. If you got an extra 6th-round pick, why not? Might be something to think about. Jonathan said it was 10 indeed. Keelan said, no, we don't. Didn't realize his contract was up this year. Yep. Adrian, Freeman's vision is terrible. Freeman's days are gone, Adrian. Freeman is done. Freeman is done here. Yeah. You can get what he's giving you, you can get in a 5th round running back. Trust me. That's where we got Freeman, 4th round. We just failed. We just failed for the okie doke right after the Super Bowl and hurried up and signed him to that big contract. Freeman is probably the reason Tevin Coleman didn't get his money. Because people are like, hold on one second. Shoot, these days, most teams go with journeyman running backs anyway. Not journeyman. They go with the dual running backs anyway. Shoot, Frisco got 3 of them. Get 3 of them. You don't pay one all the money to get all. The days of the Adrian Peterson carrying 40 times a game and stuff like that, that's gone. Even Zeke down in Dallas, they're not going to use Zeke up like that. They're going to need somebody else to help weather the storm down there. Demetrius, our defense was the X factor. A defense that, much maligned the first half, and I still put stock in what the guys, whatever they switched up and who's running the show on the defensive end. You got to give credit where credit is due. They're playing much better. They're playing much better ball. They held a Frisco team that went on the road and scored 48 points against New Orleans to 2 touchdowns. That's a pretty good showing. Hey, that good game. Grady is the second best defensive lineman in football. Sheehan, he's an all-pro D tackle that won't go to the Pro Bowl. He's playing all pro this year. And to your point behind Aaron Donald, I can't think of any DT that's playing better right now. But the problem is nobody wants to hear it on a 5-9 team. Flip that around to 9-5, he'll be up in the Aaron Donald conversation. Perry, how do you feel about Josh McDaniels from New England being our head coach? I don't. I saw how he bailed out on the job in Indy. I saw what he did in Denver. And I also see somebody who's hiding behind the security blanket of the Belichick, Tom Brady era of looking like a genius while he's there. Because when he had his second opportunity to leave, there's something about that's the reason why too. I know everybody gets on Kyle Shanahan, and I'm not mad for Kyle Shanahan wanting to improve himself and go to another team. Listen, you're the offensive coordinator of the most prolific offense in the last 15 years in Atlanta, and somebody else offers you a head coaching job. Of course you take that job. I'm not mad at all that he left. I'm mad that he had a horrible game plan in the Super Bowl. But I'm not mad that man left. That man got a chance to be a head coach. You take it. McDaniels, on the other hand, is somebody to me that you left an opportunity to coach a team to come back and be second fiddle under Belichick for another 6 or 7 years. It's not like you needed the tutelage. It's not that you needed the mentorship. You've had an opportunity to do it once. This is your second chance. This could have been your Belichick chance. This was Belichick's second chance. New England. This could have been your second chance. Or does he call himself waiting for Belichick to move over so he can move in his position? I don't know. But I'm not crazy about that one, Perry. Jimmy says, Young isn't who we need. Derek Brown, I believe, will have the best upside. I would love to get my hands on him. Judging by these wins we might not get a chance. But, yeah, that is somebody I would like. Brother from Auburn. Alton, rise up. Devin, thank you for explaining that. Oh, it's all right, brother. Yeah. Jimmy, I don't think we will lose Hoop. He can get $10 million. However, I think he stays here because of the loyalty. You heard it here first. Loyalty can't pay the bills, Jimmy. It goes back to the same thing I was talking about, knowing your worth with Chase Young. Hooper would be foolish to not go out on the open market after this year. Hooper's numbers have ascended the last couple of years, and if not for the injury this year, he was on pace to be in the third, having the third most receptions by a tight end. You would be absolutely foolish to call yourself giving us a hometown discount. And that's me who loves him playing for the team. But that would be crazy. Lee, what's going on, my friend? Pressure from his agents to bring his contract up when we should be thinking about the game, and then he didn't pick up the blitzing linebacker in the Super Bowl. Never will forgive him for that. Be gone, freedom man. Yeah, man. Listen. Take whatever cap hit you're gonna take on that one, and move on. There are too many little young scat bats, and not only Division I, some HBCUs out there have some good athletes, some good running backs out there. Dude, you can find them. That's what I need. I need a new coach and a new GM with the eyes that can go find those cats. That's what I need in this facility. That's what I need in Flowery Branch. And you know, find the GMs. Find the guys that nobody's hollering about. It doesn't take a genius if you're right there and Chase Young is your next pick and you pick him. I want the one that can go out and find the NAIA player that can come in here and play. Or the one that goes out to Wyoming and picks a Josh Allen and says he could play. Those are the eyes that I want on there. But yeah, you can't give them $10 million though, Jimmy. Tidy, what's going on, brother? The only way we can keep Hoop is Matt would have to take a significant pay cut, and that'd be 2 years in a row. I'm not sure. I'm not sure for even the decline of Matt that he's going to take too many hits. Matt got them young boys to feed. Them boys about to hit 3 years old, man. He ain't gonna be too many more pay cuts. Oh, Timothy say running backs are a dime a dozen. You can get a running back anywhere. Anywhere. Tidy says, I say we won't resign Hooper, though, because if we were, it seems he would have been extended by now. You don't allow great young talent to go into free agency unless you know beforehand that you can't keep him financially. And I'll go one step further with that, Tidy. Had we had a successful first half, and remember Hooper was doing a great job initially during those games. We weren't getting the team results, but Hooper was balling out before he got hurt. Had we had a 5-3 record or something like that, and Hooper was still balling, we probably would have signed him before then. We probably would have did him like we did Debo last year. Not Debo. Who did we sign in the middle of the season last year? Was that Debo we signed in the middle of the season? Oh, did we do it in the summer? No, it's somebody we signed in the middle of the season. I'm losing. Help me out, y'all. Perry, with Julio getting older, Riley keep getting hurt. One of those 2 second-round picks may have to go to a wideout. Tired of Riley getting hurt back-to-back seasons. Well, I mean, Riley gave you 10 touchdowns last year before he got hurt. And he gives you I'm not as super concerned. I think that was just a freak little accident that happened to Riley. I think Riley's going to be all right. As far as wide receivers concerned, I'm extremely encouraged by the young receiving core. Gage is, to me, starting to get more and more confident, especially with those little in routes. He seems to be a pretty good route runner because most of the time, if Matt's throws are on point, Gage is usually there. Gage doesn't seem to drop a lot of passes. I like Blake's toughness. He needs to square away his holding when he's out there blocking on the edges. And then we saw what Zacchaeus did last week when he got his opportunity to play. So I'm very encouraged by the wide receiver core. I wouldn't go crazy on that end if I were you, but that's just my opinion, Perry. But I think we're pretty good in that end. Perry, Grady's going to the Pro Bowl. I hope he does. His peers will definitely vote him in. I'm not sure the fans in the NFL know him enough to vote. I don't think they do. Brother Glover says we should have called Uncle Luke and his wife's bluff and let Freeman walk. I said that the whole time. Matter of fact, he should have been punished almost for her bringing it up during the Super. Remember how that was? It wasn't Eugene Robinson distraction, But it was definitely a little bit of a distraction. She was bringing all that up at the time, and you're saying, dude, we got a game to play. And she bringing all that. If I were the Falcons right after he whiffed on that little block, I would have told him, man, kick rocks. We'll see what Tevin and some other cats will do. Tidy, Grady shows up on run plays and pass plays. Excellent play. The run plays today, that not on the ones he made and the ones he almost made, were just absolutely key. Grady is earning his contract. But again, as I was speaking throughout the week, he needs to be accountable. So in some ways, I'm going to give him credit for doing what he's doing, but he's supposed to. He's one of the top 5 paid defensive tackles today. You're supposed to be doing that. You absolutely are. Philip, McDaniels, DQ ain't going nowhere. Okay. I don't know, Philip. I'm going to let y'all keep sitting here thinking that this man is saving his job right now. I'm sitting here thinking, I don't think so. This will be the second year in a row that we're finishing up the season with these little mini runs. I don't think he's going to do it twice. I don't think he's going to survive this one. Dexter, I don't think we fire Quinn. I think we get rid of Thomas. If I had the 3 scenarios, well, the 4 scenarios, both of them get fired, or either of them get fired, or nobody gets fired. This is my prediction, or what my highest percentage is. I think the higher percentage is they both go. I think the second highest percentage is TD stays, Dan Quinn leaves. I think the third one is that Dan stays and TD leaves, which I don't think that's going to happen at all. And I think what about both of them staying? I think that's a less than 1%, in my opinion. Somebody's got to pay for the first 8 games of the year. Somebody's got to pay for it. And there are no offensive and defensive coordinators to blame this year, because the defensive coordinator we had the first 8 games sucked, and he happens to have the head coach headphones on. So you can't blame it on that this year. Perry said, yeah, I agree. We may tag him, but depends on how much tag will take his contract. Tag will take his pay to, I think, is $9.5 million. I think me and Tidy were looking at that the other day. I think Tidy pulled that up. It's the average of the top 5 tight ends in the game. It's $9.5 million, y'all. We cannot pay that to Austin right now. You can't. You have too many other glaring needs on this team. Too many others. RJ, I hope we keep Quinn. I believe he deserves another chance. I believe in Dan Quinn. RJ, I'm going to respect your opinion. Absolutely respect it. Dude, I can't give him another chance, bro. I can't. He's had 2 chances these last couple of years. You can't. What should really be the biggest thing, the biggest glaring reason you want to fire Dan Quinn is what you saw today. That team today beat the number 1 seed right now in the NFC. That's the same players that you had the first 8 games of the year. So aside of player schemes and players just not playing well, who deserves the blame for that? That's got to be coaching, man. Yeah, Dan Quinn, I don't even know if Dan Quinn deserves any credit for the day. You know what happened today, in my opinion? Matt went back in that huddle on that last drive and say, Julio, get open. I'm going to throw it to you. We going to win this game. And two really good players, one really good player and one great player, decided the fate of the Atlanta Falcons today. And I think that's happened. That doesn't have anything to do with Dan Quinn. But again, RJ, I'm not gonna be one of these fools and calling names and stuff like that. I respect your opinion, but I disagree with you. I think he's got to go. Lee says Foog's goal beating the Aints and the 49ers. He's got to go. And that's, I've been saying that term all monthly. Fool's goal. Great that you can beat the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans. Great that you could beat the 49ers in Santa Ana. But then where was this coaching when I'm at home losing to a quarterback in Mariota who's on the bench now? You know, just no. He's got to go, man. Too inconsistent. RJ, the GM needs to go. Okay, we agree about that. Shan, if the Mitroff would have pulled the trigger on the trade offer for the Detroit Lions, who was pretty much begging us to give them Freeman, we would have had the cap space to save Hooper. It would have been some. It would have been some, and I agree they should have pulled the trigger on that. At that time, there was no reason at that time, and I think that was during the bye week. There was no reason at that time you should have not only did that, you should have gave them a couple of footballs, some signed jerseys, and everything like that to take that salary off your hands. You absolutely should have. Anthony, how you doing, sir? We all know Freeman is gone, but what about Ito? He's pretty much Freeman 2.0, and he's younger with the same injuries. Are we cutting him loose too? Probably going to have to. Yeah, you're going to have to get a running back or so in the draft. You're probably going to have to. Yeah, the one thing is I don't think Ito, because this will be Ito's third year, and I don't think his salary will be super high because I think Ito was a six round pick, I think. And you still have Ollison on the squad. I don't know if they're going to bring back Hill because I think Hill, is this his third year or fourth year? It might be his fourth year. But I'm not sure if you bring back Hill. But with Ollison there, you draft a couple of running backs and see how that goes. Barnier, you might keep him, even though you got to stop fumbling the dang ball, man. And got time for that. We almost blew that. Hold on to the ball. Got happy. He got one little kickoff, one little punt return, and now he fumbling the ball. Jimmy said, looked it up. $10 million for tight end tag. However, we could transitional tag for $8 million. $8 million is still too much, Jimmy. We got, dude, Jimmy, you know better, man. We got too many holes, bro, to pay him $8 million. Too many holes. Anthony, that's a lot of money if you tag him. Money we don't have for next season. Absolutely. Toddy, it might be a good idea to build a defense around Grady. If so, do we take the best defensive tackle on the board in the first round? Toddy, and that's what everybody was talking about, Derek Brown. Who's pretty good. And I'm not even going to lie to you. I haven't done my homework on the other DTs right now in the league. But I know that brother from Auburn. I've watched him because we're in SEC country a lot. And I'm going to tell you what, he's actually pretty potent. Do you take a chance on one of the Georgia guys coming down on the O-line? If you see where you're not going to be able to go up and get the guys you want, one or two more wins, we're going to fall into that 12 to 13 pick. Do you go out and get, what's my man, Andrew from Georgia? And then Big Isaiah coming out this year too? Now, I don't know if Big Isaiah rates as high as my other guy, but you need to look at that too. Shan, the problem, Stephen, is you're a season ticket holder, so of course – you feel like someone better pay for the first half of the season. The problem is Arthur Blank just gave Thomas and Dan an extension for 2 years. Yeah, I hear you, bro. And listen, does it affect me? Yeah, I hear you saying that's fair. But you know what? Even a fan who's not a season ticket holder, you got stake in this team too. You pay for paraphernalia. You pay for your jerseys. You may go to events that a Falcons sponsored or something like that. So I don't want to make it totally about just being a season ticket holder. But at the same time, just because you gave them an extension doesn't mean you can not, cut them either too. Yeah, you'll be on the hook. But you can't keep accepting this mediocrity. You can't keep doing it. You can't keep accepting losing at the beginning and then saving his job. Who is the cat from Wayne Fonts? Was that his name at Detroit? Some of my old school folks will come in on that. Every year, Wayne Fonts would come down to the end of the season and he would win a couple of games and then he'd save his job. And then they go into the next year. He cried at the podium near the end of the year and he'd think he would lose his job. And they kept doing the same thing. And I think he only ended up with maybe one winning season. Matter of fact, wasn't he the coach? Was he the coach when we I don't think Wayne Fonts was the coach when we beat Detroit in the playoffs. Not playoffs. It was the regular season. That Barry Sanders, I think, was the MVP. But I think that's his name, Wayne Fonts. And they kept giving them chance after chance after chance, and Detroit stayed mediocre after mediocre year, wasting Barry Sanders, in my opinion, one of the best running backs of all time. Because the Ford ownership kept believing in Wayne Fonts because they liked him. We got to get over that. Different scenario, different age. We can't get fooled by our emotions. Shin, I'm not a season ticket holder. That's Jimmy talking. Shin, I'm not a season ticket holder, and I know for a fact that someone is going to be gone. Yeah, somebody's got to pay for it. Lee says, went all in on the O-line. Now we got to get edge rushers, running backs, tight ends. Got to give the two first-round linemen a chance to play together more. Hopefully we'll see something in the last 2 games. True's replacement may already be on the team. Too much for a mediocre cornerback. It'll be interesting to see. And we got to probably just do a show on the salary cap and what these dead cap hits are going to be, because True is someone definitely we're going to have to look at and what to do with his money. Because Sheffield, y'all, I think Sheffield is going to be that person that we're going to look back and say, that was a pretty good pick, y'all. Sheffield looks the part. I'm not saying he's arrived, but Sheffield looks the part. Oliver, whoever's been talking to Oliver lately, Oliver looks the part now. I'm not saying we're completely set at our cornerbacks, but I am very impressed at what we're doing. Add in KZ. You might have to start thinking about what to do with Rico. Rico making a little too much money for what he's doing right now, especially when you got KZ doing the same thing back there. Got to start thinking about that. Sheehan, both players are great. Steven Julio isn't great without Matt, just like you talked about last week. Don't call Julio great and Matt just good. And you're right from a franchise standpoint, and that's what I was talking about, Sheehan. From an NFL standpoint, they're not going to call Matt great, because I think Tidy corrected me on one of his posts about it one time. When you're universally known as the top person in your position, then you're great. When you have an MVP season that was great and you don't have a pedigree of a champion behind you, it's hard. Today, it's hard. I'm one of those people that usually fights for just because they don't win a championship doesn't mean they're a great player. Right. But there was 1 year out of 12 where Matt was considered the best quarterback in the NFL. Even when he didn't win the Super Bowl, he was considered the best. I was talking more in the now. So don't get it twisted, Shin. Matt Ryan is the best quarterback in Atlanta franchise history. Matt Ryan, during his prime years in the NFL, was clearly a top 10 quarterback. But speaking on the 2019 frame, I'm saying he's a pretty good quarterback right now and a great wide receiver right now. Right now. Don't get it twisted. I love me some Matt and love what he's done for this franchise. People don't want to give him credit. I'll give him credit all day. Timothy, Julio has 2 touchdowns. Only has 2 touchdowns. No, he got more than 2 touchdowns. He had 2 touchdowns. He scored touchdowns earlier this year. Today he hadn't had touchdowns in the last 8 games. Because remember, I think Julio had, if I'm not mistaken, Julio had 2 or 3 touchdowns when the year started. Right? I could be wrong. Stats. Pull that up while y'all going through that. Timothy. No, I'm sorry. Demetrius, do we keep Neal? You got to keep Neal. You signed him to that contract. And you really don't hurt anything. It really doesn't hurt by keeping Neal around because you're going to do one or two things. You're going to see whether he's worth extending after next season, and he's going to give you all he has because if the Falcons don't re-sign him, then he's playing potentially for his next contract. So, yeah, you keep Neal. You definitely keep Neal. You definitely keep Neal, without a doubt. Julio Jones has 4 touchdowns this year. I thought he had a couple more. Ito was a 4th rounder. Was he that high, David? My bad. Y'all keep me honest. Yeah. Okay. 4th round. I give him credit there. Yeah. Jimmy, the only person who can fix the cap is who won't get fired, Thomas Dimitroff. He's going to find a way to get 15, 20 million opening cap. Somebody else can figure that out. It's capologists all over the place. We just get stuck with the same person. We can find somebody else. Jimmy, DQ needs to go, but great effort. If I could put that on a poster, Jimmy, I put your exact post on a poster. Tidy Wayne Fonts from the Barry Sanders year. And correct me, Tidy, was he the coach the year? Because remember when Jamal should have been the MVP, I think that was the year they gave it to Barry, and Detroit and Atlanta were kind of back and back. I think Fonts was there that year. If I'm not mistaken, I'll figure that out later. Sheehan, I agree with you, bro. I'm just saying Arthur Blank hasn't said one bad thing about Dan Quinn and hasn't mentioned Dimitroff at all. That could be definitely a message that they might be gone. But I don't know. Yeah, and like I said, Sheehan, you know better. I'm not debating you on that part. I'm just saying, yeah, I just think the writing's on the wall, man. I do. Michael, when we look so good, it's a shame we aren't in the playoffs. Michael, I'm telling you, it just, dude, scratching your head so much that you'll bleed to wonder why this team comes up with an effort like this puts my emotions into it. And then I'm sitting at half empty stadiums against the Rams in Seattle, and we get drug all over the place. Just, I don't know, mind-boggling, man. Sandy said, looking back on the season, we played like crap in the first half of the games, but all season, the second half, have been strong. Lately, we just started playing 4 quarters. It took a while for them to listen to what Dan was preaching this year. Or was he giving the right sermon, Sandy? We looked discombobulated the first half of the season. And when the disconnect is so deep, yes, players play it. Players play the game. Players deserve the criticism because the players have to play. But how many times did we look this year, players way out of position? Defense giving away, just like they opened the dam up and just let runners run through them and stuff. I don't know. I don't know, Sandy. He should have had this under control way before December 15th. I think that's my only point. If Dan Fouts is great, then Hall of Famer Matt Ryan is great. That's a fair argument. That's a fair argument. And you can looking at the offense that Dan Fouts had too. Yeah, you could almost argue that he had a much better offensive squad. Julio drops too many easy passes to be great, just like Matt over or underthrows the ball. Fair criticism. Fair criticism. Toddy, do you think the Falcons should rescind Neal's 5th-year option? There's no dead cap penalty. If so, what is his number? I got to see what his number is. Is the number over $7 million? I know that 5th-year option is not cheap. If the number's over 7 or 8 million, you might think about it. I'm gonna say it this way, Tiny. If it's a new regime coming in here, they might make the choice for us. But I would just, I just feel so sorry for the young man, because I truly think if healthy, he is pretty good. But we've seen this story before. I say Willie Moe, same thing. Aggressive safety, did his thing, but just couldn't stay on the field. Yeah, you could cut bait. You could, but I tell you what, I would hate to see him in that safety backfield in New Orleans. I don't know. But somebody like him, I would just hate to see a team pick him up and then he balls out with that same aggressiveness. It's not like that aggressiveness is what has gotten him hurt. I know one of them was a non-contact injury. The Falcons should let Kenneth walk. 6.6. If it's 6.6, I don't know, Tiny. I might keep him. 6.6 isn't hard. You think about your defensive players. Debo, I think he's going to be making, about 9-10 million next year? I know he doesn't. 9-10 million maybe. Grady's still making what he's making. I think you can afford. I think you can afford to keep him. I would keep him. So y'all asking my opinion. I would keep him one more year. I would. Sheehan says, Canoe is Willie Moe, younger clone, just too injury prone. Absolutely. Timothy, thanks for the correction, but the broadcaster said Julio didn't have a receiver touchdown before this game. Like you, I thought they were incorrect. Yeah, I heard when he said that. And when he was saying that, the graphic on the bottom was actually saying 8 straight games without a TD. So that was, just a faux pas by the broadcaster that makes us look bad. Tidy is actually 6.46 million. Just looked at a spot track, one of the best cap websites there. I don't know, Toddy. What you think? I think I would go ahead and keep him for 6.4. I don't know. That's a tough call. That's a tough call. To your point, you still have not to your point, but you still have Rico and KZ, and then you might be able to let those two man the ship. Yeah, if one of those three had to go, I would agree with you. I would probably let Neil go. And if it's no hit, I don't know. Johnson says, do we still believe in peace? I don't think anybody believed in. Listen, you give credit where credit is due. Whatever Shanahan did over the last couple of years with Frisco, you got to give him a little credit to go from 2-14 to 3-13, whatever he was, to doing what they're doing now. You got to give him a little bit of credit. But, that's all he gets from me. Glad we did what we did. He said, Johnson said, I'm being petty right now. Dude, you have every right to be petty. When he made the comment about this is the Falcons Super Bowl, knowing how he set us up for the Super Bowl, knowing that he had the absolute horrendous play calling in the end that cost us the Super Bowl, knowing that he didn't let the leash off of Matt Ryan to let him call his own plays, I think the audacity of him to come out and just make a statement like that, it's almost like he was trying to put a little shiver in the side. Well, you know what? Falcons gave it back to you today. She and the broadcaster said he didn't have one since the third game, from what I heard. Yeah, it was a point later on, Shin. There was a point later that when they came back from the break, and they said, and it was after Julio had caught his pass. I'm going it right to the moment because he heard the same exact, Timothy heard the same exact thing I heard. Go back into your TiVo. Right after Julio scored the touchdown, he said, this is Julio's first touchdown of the year. When he was saying that, at the bottom of the scroll, it showed it was his first touchdown in 8 games. So I heard him say, go back and look at it. He did say that. She and bye-bye, can you take your heart out of it? Oh, my heart is not in it, bro. Nah, I like Neil, man, but dude, if he's got to go, he's got to go. Toddy, I would keep him and cross my fingers. It's a high risk, although it is high risk. If it's no hit on the contract, you let him go. KZ is the future at the spot, or even better at Rico's spot, where we had 7 interceptions that year. Now, keep in mind, we coming up on KZ's 4th year, y'all. So we got to start thinking about what we're going to do with him. Now, if that's the case, that might make the Neil release that much easier. I'm not mistaken, right? In this case, he's 4th year. He came the year after the Super Bowl, right? A year before the Super Bowl. No. Did he come? Was he drafted the same year? Yeah, he came the year after the Super Bowl. So this 1, 2, 3, and next year will be his 4th year. So we have to sign him. We got to think about him going into next season, thinking about what we're going to do with him. Chauncey says he allowed his ego, talking about Shanahan, he allowed his ego to get in the way today the exact way he did in the Super Bowl. Yeah, he did make some kind of, he kind of bet on himself and lost. That was a jab at us. That was a jab at us saying that it was our Super Bowl. You talk about Neil move him to linebacker, and I know a lot of people said, but the money will still be the same, Chauncey. I think that's the bigger. I don't think anybody here is saying we don't want him on the team. I think at the 6.46 that you're talking about and the holes that we have all over the place, it's It is a dilemma because we need the space. Definitely no cap hit. We could use that money. Tough call for the front office. And again, it might not be the front office folks that are here now making that decision. If you have new front office people in here, I got a feeling that answer might be, you might already know the answer. And that's probably cut him. Moving him to linebacker actually sounds like a good idea. It does, because Dion does need a little bit of help in there. Got to think, remember, Campbell is leaving too. Olaquan is nice, but you still need one more guy on the other side where Campbell is, unless Campbell's going to sign a super cheap contract. Campbell leads the team in tackles. Don't overlook that. But, it's definitely going to be something to think about. KZ under contract for one more season, right? After this one, he makes $735,000. So again, $735,000. Seven interceptions last year. How many this year? Is it 3? It's at least 3. So 10 interceptions in 2 years for a safety. Yeah, you're setting yourself up to make a nice contract. So again, he'll be going into next year's season. We're going to be trying to sign him because he's not a draft pick. So it's not like we can't put him on the 5th-year option. So after this 4th year, we gotta make sure we do something with him. Or that's going to be, something else. Buffalo did beat Pittsburgh. I'm not really shocked that happened. 17-10. And in that AFC, that's going to be pretty jacked up. So right now, that is going to make Pittsburgh 8-6. Buffalo clinches one of the wild cards and still has a chance to win the division. New England messing around. New England almost messed around and lost that game today. Buffalo's one game back and still have one game to play against New England. In the conference, New England's 4-0, Buffalo's 3-1. Pittsburgh right now is going to be battling Tennessee for that other playoff spot. So that's going to be very interesting how that ends up working out. I mean, these guys, dude, this is coming down to the end, and this is so cool. We're not in the mix, but you know what? We had a great win. Thank y'all for joining me so late. I usually come in a little earlier than this. Meet up with me tomorrow. We'll catch y'all tomorrow around 4 o'clock to talk about the aftermath, the game after. Congratulations to the Falcons. Great win, 29-22. Everybody have a good night. Rise up, rise up, rise up. Great job.